Hello everybody. Today I'm going to share with you a fabric lace book that I have made, and this is a book I've made for a swap I'm doing with the lovely Ivy from Ivy's Shabby Crafts Cabin, and I'll put a link to her channel in the description box below. This is also a design team project for Crafty Me Shop on Facebook. Virtually every lace in this book is from Crafty Me Shop. I have used so many. There's probably 3 laces in here that are not, and I will tell you which ones they are. There are this base fabric here, and that is, it goes all the way around to the back. That was my own. Also this lace on the side here. It's a thick wide piece like that. I think it was a trim off a garment, and there's another little ruffly one as well inside. But apart from that, they are all from Crafty Me Shop. This is a dangle that I made back in September, and I made it specifically for this project because that's when we decided that we would make a lace fabric book. So I made some things. So it was sort of in the planning back then. I decided what I was going to do, and I started making things, and it has taken some time to make this. There's a lot of hand stitching. There's some machine stitching, and there's some gluing as well. All the base is hand stitched, and then some things were machine stitched. And then what I did was I went back through the book and added a few things like I think that's hand stitched on. These ones are hand stitched on, but like the pearl trim here, that was glued on, and every so often I went and I added a flower, and so I would glue it on, because once the book is all put together and a lot of embellishments are in place, it can get difficult to start sewing things on. So it's a mixture of all 3. I'll put a link to the tassel that I made in the description box below if anybody's interested to know how I did that. So I have this lovely image of a lady that is also from Crafty Me Shop. I have embroidered some loose French knots. Those, you know, they're loose. They're meant to be quite texturized on her hat there, and added some little, what are they? Oh, I've got it here. Check glass beads, and they're so pretty, and they're in her hat. I have hand stitched around the shape of her head and her tie and her outfit just to add a little bit of interest. I've stitched this beautiful rhinestone trim. That's a rhinestone trim from Baby Craft around the edge, and then I've gone around and placed different pieces of different appliques. So I've taken larger appliques, cut them up, and then stitched them on to the cover there. I have a little stick pin in here that can come out as well. This trim down the bottom, actually it's a trim that's joined that way. It kind of goes that way, but I cut it all apart and placed it in the opposite direction, so that goes across there like that. I mentioned the little pearl beads. That's a rose. All the flowers are from appliques, and there's some roses from Crafty Me Shop like that. This trim here on the background is actually this one here, which is a lovely lace from Crafty Me Shop as well. And so I've placed that behind everything, and I think that's it. And I left that kind of loose there just to, you know, it just looked nice like that, just to be left a little bit loose on the edge there. So that's what I've done. So let's go inside the book now. I'm sorry, it's the weekend and my son is playing. He's got to go out in a little while, so he must be getting all their pent-up energy or something like that. Okay, so I've mentioned as much as I need to there. And this is inside the front cover. Now, I decided not to go for a book with just images in it. I've kind of been making journals and things like that. I haven't made a lace fabric book for quite some time. And so I've got the practicality part of it in my head, and I'm thinking, oh, what can I do? So I decided to make it a stick pin cushion book. I made all the stick pins in this book back in, I think, September as well, when I made the dangle for the outside of the cover. And that's why it ended up being a bit bigger than what I wanted to make it. Like, there's not many pages in it, but my intention at the beginning was to make it a lot smaller, like Ivy made her book. But when I started making the things to go in there, they covered the whole page, and it wasn't going to work. So I had to make my book a little bit bigger. This is the same lace trim that is on the front cover. There you can see how it works. This is from Crafty Me Shop. Everything else on here is from Crafty Me Shop. And everything on that page, apart from the ribbon and the millinery flowers there. I have some seam binding bow here, and in this pocket, oh, there's that lace there, you can see. And I've just added some applique pieces as well. This is a little booklet that I've made. I've added some pieces from Crafty Me Shop and printed a image of a lady, and this is the classic collection from the paper Cameo, and I just printed it out, one of the pages out in a reduced size, and I printed a lady on top. So, and that's the other side of it there. And it's made from the muslin from Crafty Me Shop also, and it says 1800s ladies fashion. And what this is, oh, and that's a beautiful applique piece from Crafty Me Shop that I've popped on there as well, and it's lovely. And this is all stitched together. It's just a little bit of wording on what is on each page in this book. So on this page here, I've got bonnet, fascinator, hat. Now, I know it doesn't look like much, but in the 1800s, they wore these little hats. They were a bit bigger than a fascinator, but not quite as big as a full hat. And they would perch them on top of their head and have their updos. And they'd use either ribbons or stick pins to keep them in place. So what I've got here is, in the 1800s, ladies could be seen wearing decorative fashion hats, sitting atop an elaborate updo. These accessories would be secured by way of 2 long ribbons tied under the chin or behind the head, or even exclusively by the use of beautiful elaborate hat pins. So what I've done, for each page I've written a little piece so you can understand that, oh, that is a hat. So for that page, that's what that says, and I'll read them as I go through. That's a lovely Crafty Me Shop trim at the top there. It's so pretty. And then this is the base that I used on the front cover also. It was a really long runner, but it was very narrow. That's the width of it. But it had the most beautiful end pieces on it. And it's from Crafty Me Shop. And so what I've done is I have used it for this page. So you can see those beautiful end pieces, and then it serves the purpose of, working for the page as well. I have 2 pleated trims for the front of the hat. That's from Crafty Me Shop. I have a little applique piece here from Crafty Me Shop. I have a feather. I rarely use feathers in my work. I'm not a feather person, but a hat needs feathering. I have a beautiful little tulle flower and some tulle in there, and a bit hard to see. There's a rose in there as well, and then I have this little flower here. I have a beautiful vintage ribbon that's tied in a bow there, and I've stitched it in various places. Like, that may flatten out during its journey, but it pops up quite nicely, and I'm hoping that will be the case once Ivy gets it as well. And that just goes down. And down the bottom here I've cut up another beautiful lace and layered it up for the bottom there, and another piece there. So lots of Crafty Me Shop laces. Those that purchase Crafty Me Shop laces on Facebook may recognise a lot of their laces in this book. Okay, let's turn the page and see what we've got next. I've put that there because it is like a mirror, and I want that there so that it doesn't get damaged during shipping as well. So on our next page here, we have Parasol or Umbrella Handheld Vanity Mirror. So I'll read this page first. A beautiful lace and fabric parasol could be used for protection from the weather or as an ideal way of hiding in a public place. And that's how they used to use them. You know, they could avoid people by using their parasol. A heavier, sturdier umbrella would be used for wet conditions. So, of course, this is the summertime lace parasol. I have a little bead cap on the end there. I have a long hat pin that I've made, and that is depicting the handle of the parasol. And then each of these are stick pins as well that can either be left in here or taken out. Beautiful lace over the top here, and another trim there from Crafty Me Shop as well. For the base of the page, I used a beautiful handkerchief from Crafty Me Shop, and this is the lace from it. I did have to put a fold through the center of it so it would fit the page, but I just love the lace on it. I think it's absolutely beautiful. So I've used that as the back. I've attached a flower trim down the sides. I decided not to put any pearls or anything in that because I kind of wanted these two things to be the main focus of the page, yet still decorate the back, of course. So there's lots of appliques and wedding applique pieces as well. I've added flowers, and there's another tulle flower there. I love those tulle flowers. They're really pretty. I have a flower here, so they're just all combined. Another tulle flower from Crafty Me Shop. So that's what I've done. This beautiful flower in the center here as well. And that was kind of added because I forgot to cover the stitching the book together, but there we go. On this side we have a handheld mirror, and I have written, beautifully carved and ornate handheld mirrors were a luxury item. Many were made from silver and some contained mother of pearl and precious stones. They were used primarily to see and help with the elaborate hairstyles of the day. To make my mirror, I used a beautiful applique. I think I've got one here from Crafty Me Shop, which is this one. I looked on Pinterest to get an idea of what, a shape and things like that. And although there were lots of oval mirrors and, squarish and different styles, there was also a lot of very elaborate kind of shapes as well. So I thought, well, why not use a beautiful applique piece? And all I did was I trimmed these two little corners off here, so that part there would be missing. And then in the center where I wanted to put my mirror, I just removed some of these pearls so that the silver cardboard that I used, and see, there we go, like that, would lay flat. And then I've just glued some of the beautiful rhinestone trim around the edge of it. I've used another trim going down the handle here, and then an applique piece there as well. It's got a little bit of cushioning behind it so that once again there's somewhere to put the stick pins into. And all the shapes I've used, I've made them out of here we go. There you go. There it is there, actually. Look at that. That's how I've made it. It's like a lightweight chipboard. I made all my shapes out of that. Then I covered them. Like that one's covered in the muslin and then the lace. This one's covered in the muslin and then the applique pieces. So that gives you an idea of how they were all made. Okay, so that is that page. And the last page here is a button-up shoe. I was going to do a boot. In fact, I think I've got my drawing over here somewhere. Yeah, there's some sketching. I kind of, you know, spent some time sketching things out. See, I was originally going to have that shape mirror, but then I realized I could have it a little bit more elaborate than that. And there's my parasol sketch. Okay, so I was originally just going to have like a sun hat, and then it changed as things do. And then I decided to do a shoe as well. So, you know, it all changed. And I was going to gild the mirror. The gilding didn't turn out. In fact, I think I've still got it here. It's kind of, see how it's too mottled. And I don't mind a bit of age, but it was too mottled. So I ended up going with silver card. Anyway, let's have a look here. Okay, so instead of doing a boot, because what I found was I was getting a lot of bulk at the top of the pages, and this part of the book was dipping down. So what I wanted to do was focus some bulk on the bottom of these pages, so it didn't, you know, so it sits quite nice when it's all closed. So I made a shoe instead of a boot. And I've used, once again, this beautiful, beautiful lace. Oh, you know, I just love it. Let me show it to you. It's so pretty. And it's such a fine lace. There we go. Make it look presentable. There, it's that one there. And it's just gorgeous. It's ever so fine. And it's got a silver thread going through it. But you can, all the little bits that you end up left with, like, you know, you end up with little pieces you can use on other bits, or you can just cut a flower out. It's just beautiful. I love it. And so that is covered in that. That's once again that little ruffled lace. See how I've used the ruffled lace between the pages there? That was my own lace. I put that there. These are all stitched. They're all stitched, and then it's glued onto the page. And that goes, you know, these, like, the applique's glued on, but these are all stitched, and then they're glued on to the page. So we have a jewel there from Crafty Me Shop. These little rhinestones here, they came from BB Craft. They're a bit of chain cut up, those ones. I think they are anyway. Are they? Yes, they are. I think they are. This is a flower from Gail. Thank you, Gail. And then I have some millinery flowers at the top there. I put a ruffle of tulle across the top there. And once again, some lovely stick pins. And I'll put a link also to the stick pins in the description box below. All these laces are from Crafty Me Shop. Once again, the flower trim that I used here. But see, this one doesn't have anything in the center. But on here, I stitched sequins and pearls on. And I think these pearls here may have come from the applique where I took the pearls off. So, you know, I still use them. Beautiful background lace from Crafty Me Shop once again. And this lovely, lovely flower trim from Crafty Me Shop. I had that in white, I think, and tea stained it. Okay. Okay, what did I write about my shoe? And that's the last page of my little booklet. And I have some more. I had the one part of that applique there and the other part there. So it was actually one piece, and I cut it up to put in the book here. Button-up shoes. Now, this is only one type of button-up shoe. And I'll read it out to you. Ladies' high-top shoes with buttons and false buttonholes. The buttons were for looks only, and that was a patent they made from 1837. Now, there were shoes around that were obviously button-up, but these particular ones, what I'm talking about here, they had like an elasticated, so I didn't need to do any little loops for the buttons and buttons holes and things like that. Anyway, I did not know that, so I was quite happy to find that out, that they did have pull-on little shoes that look like button-up shoes back in the early 1800s. They are actually pull-on shoes with an elastic gusset. This is a flat-heeled ankle-high shoe. So mine's probably not a flat heel, but there we go. I hope you learnt something there, because I did. I didn't know they had elasticated shoes back then. And then on our last page here, once again, beautiful Crafty Me Shop laces in the background and applique pieces, and they're stitched on flowers. A beautiful piece from Crafty Me Shop, and this jewel here is also from Crafty Me Shop, and that's all stitched on. I did stitch this lovely lace to a pocket front, that's machine stitched and then placed on there, and I hand stitched all these sequins across the top there as well. In the pocket here I have our lady that we all need to add to our books every so often. So I printed my lady out onto the muslin that I got from Crafty Me Shop, and then I've stitched all around her. She is not padded. She has the chipboard between her and muslin on both sides of her, and then I got my glue stick and glued gently the fabric to the cardboard in the center, and then I stitched around it. What I did after that, though, was I went around with a little bit of tacky glue, because this fabric does tend to fray after a while. So I just touched the edge with a little bit of tacky glue all the way around so that it won't fray away to nothing. For her hat, once again, that beautiful lace, I've just used some off-cut pieces, and I love the way that curls. Look, I know that's not everyone's choice, but I love the way it curls over. It's almost like a feather in her hair or something. A little bit of chain like a tiara. I have, on her jewels, I've used the Winker Stella clear glitter pen, but I've also touched a little bit of the glitter, Nouveau glitter drops on it as well, but not too much, just enough to know that, you know, there's a bit of sparkle there. Then I've made her a belt, and that is completely that one, and so that's more silver with a rhinestone in the center that fell out off one of the appliques when I was cutting it up. So that's her jewelry. All the laces are from Crafty Me Shop. I have this beautiful lace here that I've used that is gathered up underneath this bottom part of her top there, and I've used this gorgeous brown silk for her skirt. So that's what she looks like. I think she's lovely. I do like making paper dolls and things. And on the back I have just covered it with an applique piece like that, put some more of that lace there with some tulle. But it's like that's the cardboard, that's the actual lady, just that piece there, and then the skirt is sort of stuck to the front of her like that. The reason I did it like that was Ivy can always just glue a hanger if she wants to hang it somewhere. She can leave it in the book. But when you put it like that, then it can be like a box sitter. And I sort of came up with this idea when I was making paper dolls with large paper clips. When they were drying, I was just sitting them on the edge of a box, and I thought, oh my goodness, that looks so, so pretty. So what I did was I did it like that, and I'll just show you what I mean. I've got a box here. You can just put that and see how she sits there. Like if you've got a box on your desk or something that you put things in, you could have these ladies on there too. And I think they're ever so pretty just sitting there. You don't make them too long, just like the distance of the box, and that way they can sit there and make you feel good and look pretty. So, but you know, she can just stay in the book too. She doesn't have to do that, but that's something you can do with her. This is also an applique from Crafty Me Shop. So, and what I did to hem the skirt, I just used a little bit of fabric glue and folded it over. And I had to do that very carefully so it didn't fit, you know, see glue coming through, but I didn't want it fraying away or anything like that. And then I've also placed in here a beautiful pair of vintage gloves. They have been washed, but because they're old, they're a little bit discoloured, but they're all beautifully beaded. Just thought it would be nice because I didn't do a page with gloves, I realised at the end. So I thought, well, I'll just pop those gloves in there anyway. And so that, I'll just fold that over like that. That is my lace fabric book for my swap with Ivy, and I have thoroughly enjoyed doing this. I haven't made a fabric book like this for such a long time. It was a lot of fun. I really did enjoy it. Like I said, I ended up coming back and gluing a few things on. Some of these may be glued on because it was taking such a long time. But I hope you like it, Ivy. I don't know if she will be watching this video or whether she'll wait until she gets it. It doesn't matter, whatever she wants to do. But that is the book that I've made for you. And it does sit quite nicely. It didn't turn out quite as, you know, big as what I thought it would. So that's nice. And I've also, oops, I better put that back in there too. Little booklet. And I've also made a little card for you that I need to be writing in. I haven't written in it yet. That is just made out of some French dictionary paper. I think I used about 3 sheets of it, folded it in half. I've got a bit of, it's not file folder, but it's just some paper I found at the op shop. Put a piece of applique, stitched all the papers together, and then glue and stitched the lace from Crafty Me Shop over the top there. This is an image from Crafty Me Shop also. I have stitched around it and stitched around the little frame inside there. Once again, those lovely little offcuts of that lace. I just love them. They're so sweet. I have some millinery flowers. One of the dangles that fell off when I was cutting it to size, or I cut it a bit long or something like that. Anyway, but we ended up with one piece. So I put that there and a little bead lace there, and that's a card. This was attached to like a paper backing when I got it. And you're meant to take it off and just use it as fabric, but I left the paper backing on just to add a bit more sturdiness to it. So I enjoyed making that little card, and it was very, very quick and simple to make. So there we go. That is my lace fabric book swap for the lovely Ivy, and that is my design project for Crafty Me Shop, and I hope you all like it. So take care, everybody, and I shouldn't be so long putting up another video this time. I think I've got to get on with my 52 tags. I'm a little bit behind with that, so that's what I'll be doing this weekend. So, and this will be in the mail on Monday for you, Ivy, with a few bits. So take care, everybody. Bye.